releasing the drug, and these such formulations releases the drug or maintains the drug in therapeutic window for a prolonged period of time. So there are obviously certain advantages associated with such formulations, that there is predetermined rate of release of the drug to a specific location or target site to limit side effects, or specific areas of the body without degradation, and they maintain therapeutic drug levels for prolonged period of time. And then the particular formulations can provide predictable, controllable release rate, and obviously that can lead to reduced dosing frequency and increases patient compliance. The history of this controlled drug delivery actually starts from the Worcester technique that was introduced way back in 1949. Then there was, we had various developments. Then we switched to preservation, then microencapsulation, implants, transdermal delivery, and the site-directed delivery systems. We started, the researchers started working 1990 onwards. So there are concept of drug target specifically for the diseases like cancer or leishmania or tuberculosis or some other disease. So what is drug targeting? So drug targeting is a phenomena whereby we actually provide therapeutic amount of the drug at proper site in the body or the required site in the body. So there are two aspects in drug targeting. First one is spatial placement, which actually is targeting of drugs to the specific cells, tissues and organs. And the temporal delivery, which is basically controlling the rate of drug release once your formulation reaches the target site. And this drug targeting can overcome the unfavorable pharmacokinetic properties that improves the efficacy and improves tolerability and decreases toxic effects of the drug. Drug targeting basically divides in two segments or two parts: passive targeting and active targeting in case of delivery of drugs to the tumor tissues. So what is passive targeting? As the term implies, passive means there is no that doesn't involve input of any energy, and it utilizes the inherent property of the carrier system through enhanced permeability and retention effect. So what is EPR? In case of EPR, what we do actually, we prepare some nanoparticle formulations in say sub-nanometer range, around say 80 to 100 nanometers, and once these formulations are administered, they actually wander in circulation, and whenever they find the tumor tissues, actually these formulations accumulates within the tumor tissues. Okay, the property with the tumor tissue is that they have leaky vasculature. Okay, so the fenestration size is increased in case of tumor cells, so that the formulation actually extra viscous in these fenestrations and remains and traps there and releases the drug in the vicinity of the target site. So this is just a representation of this particular phenomenon. Within case of normal endothelial cells, you administer the formulation, actually formulation circulates along with the blood flow. In case of disrupted endothelial lining, that's in case of tumor tissues, you administer the formulation whenever find these tumor tissues, they extravases and releases the drug in the vicinity of the tumor site. And what are the various ways actually to exploit the concept of the passive targeting? That can be done by incorporation of drugs within say carrier systems like liposomes, nanoparticles, polyphenol's, nanomers, and many more other formulations. This is a classical example of formulation which is commercially available in the market. So Doxil was a formulation which was the first formulation of doxorubicin hydrochloride launched in the market. This particular formulation was developed by Elja Corporation. So basically, this particular formulation is being composed of HSPC, fully hydrogenated HSPC, DSP, MPG, and cholesterol. So in this particular formulation, the liposomal formulation, as PEG coating is provided over the surface of the particles. Okay, so what is the region of providing PEG? Actually, what happens when we administer the formulation and the body actually recognize these particular formulation of the particles as foreign particles, and the macrophage gets activated. And the macrophage actually tries to basically engulf these particles and flush out these particles from the body, so that the mean residence time of the formulation or in the circulation would obviously reduced, and that ultimately reduces the chances of uh, getting higher accumulation of drug within the target site or into the tumor tissues. So the PEG coating actually provides some steric hindrance. Okay, so I mean we can coat some hydrophilic groups like PEG or other bulky groups. They actually opposes the process of the opsonization, and these particular formulations cannot be recognized by the macrophages and remains in circulation for a prolonged period of time. Okay, so what I have seen with the data that these formulations even can remain in the formulation up to 48 to 72 hours. And the drug loading of doxorubicin has been done in this particular formulation with the help of a ammonium sulfate gradient method, whereas the encapsulation efficiency is very high. These formulation actually evades reticuloendothelial system and being classified as stealth effect or stealth formulation. Stealth means obviously they cannot be recognized by the body, and they stealthily actually remains in the body for a prolonged period of time. And the drug stays in liposomes unit until actually it reaches the tumor tissues, so that the premature release of the drug in the systemic circulation is very less. Now, the second concept is active targeting. So, what is active targeting? Obviously, whenever active targeting is involved, it means that we need to provide some impetus or energy to the system. So, what happens? The drug delivery system is conjugated with a specific ligand like folic acid, transferrin, or herceptin, or PSMA. Actually, the basic fundamental is that certain receptors are overexpressed in, especially in cancer cells. For example, folate receptors are over.
Sir, sir, we are not getting your voice, sir. Manish, sir, we are not getting your voice.
He is left.